If you're in a crisis right now, a real one, the one that feels like it's knocked the wind out of you or your life has been hit by a torpedo, here's something no one tells you. Your soul is hungry and it's going to be fed. So the question simply becomes, by what? I've walked through my own crisis, and one of the things that I discovered that I didn't expect is that your soul doesn't go on pause when you hit crisis. It doesn't wait till you get your bearings. It's still hungry and it's still searching for what will satisfy it. If we don't know ahead of time the healthy things that nourishes our soul, I can guarantee you something else will step in and will feed it. And so in this video, what I want to share with you is the two things that I did that kept me from entering into unhealthy behaviors during my time of crisis. Before I share the first thing with you, let me tell you why this is so important, why this actually matters. Our soul is designed to be fed. It isn't self-sustaining, but for each one of us, our soul is unique. And in a season of crisis, the hunger, it doesn't diminish, it actually intensifies. And if we don't know ahead of time, we haven't identified what really will nourish our soul, then the things that are unhealthy will become magnetic to us. Why is that? Because they promise us comfort, they promise us relief, they promise us escape. And in a crisis, when our soul is hungry, those promises are hard to resist. I've guided hundreds of people through their crisis zone. And for many of them, this one insight has been a lifeline for them. So I want to give you the two things that I did that really kept me from getting captured by unhealthy behaviors during my crisis zone. When my late wife, Debbie, was killed in a car accident, she was 47 years of age. We'd been married for 25 years, and everything in my life shattered. The person I had built most of my life around and most of my life with was no longer with me. It's as if half of my soul had been torn out. As a result, I was alone. I was in deep grief. I was uncertain, actually scared regarding my future. And here's what I experienced. My soul was searching for something, really anything, to fill the gap that grief had torn open in my life. And I'm not talking about just one thing. I'm talking about any of the things that we use to numb our pain, what we try to do to escape through entertainment, through food, through isolation, through substance abuse, through sexual temptation. The form, what it actually is, doesn't matter quite as much as the pattern. And here's the pattern. When crisis hits, our soul is hungry and it's going to be fed by something. So we have to decide beforehand what that something is going to be. So here's the first thing that helped me to avoid unhealthy behaviors capturing me in my time of crisis and my difficult season. First of all, I had to discover and name the things that fed my unique soul. Because again, every person's soul is unique. So what would feed mine may not be the same thing as yours. But if you're in a crisis, you need to take the time to find out what that is. Most of us know, what we do to entertain us, what we do to distract us, what we do to numb us. We know those things. But many of us have not stopped and taken the time to identify the healthy things that nurture us. And here's why it's important to do that ahead of time. Because in crisis, we will grab the thing that's closest to us, and usually the thing that's closest to us isn't the healthiest thing. It's like when we're in the donut shop, we're getting coffee at the donut shop. Guess what we get? We get donuts. Why? Because it's closest. Or it's like if we're at a fair, we're at a carnival and we're hungry. Well, we don't usually take the time to find some healthy food because there's not a lot of healthy food there. So we get the corn dog and we get the funnel followed up by the funnel cake. Why? because it's closest, because it's easy. And the same thing is true when we are in our crisis. Our soul is hungry. It wants to be fed. And oftentimes, again, if we don't know what's healthy for us, we will just grab the closest thing to try to what I call jumpstart our soul. Here's what were the healthiest things for me. They may not be the same thing for you, but when I was in my crisis, I found time in nature. I found taking a great bike ride in a metro parks that we live close to, nurtured my soul. I found a good meal with good conversation with a good friend, fed my soul. Reading a good book for me, fed my soul. Traveling a little bit, going somewhere to see a family member or a friend, that fed my soul. Anything for me that was creative, reading, writing, journaling, thinking, that was something that fed my soul. So during those seasons, it was important for me to know what are the unhealthy things, because they were attractional, but what are the healthy things, and what are the healthy things that actually feed my soul? Let me ask you a question. Do you know what those are? If not, I would encourage you to take a sheet of paper and start to answer those for you, and then watch over the next week or so what brings life to your soul, what grounds you, what brings energy back to you, what reconnects you to God, what makes you come alive again in the middle of feeling the depression and being overwhelmed with the season you're in. And then note those, just write those down. These 4 or 5 things, they are what feeds my soul. I call them soul feeders. So you want to name your soul feeders right in the middle of your crisis. You want to do that at this season. Let me give you the second thought and the second thing I did. But before I do that, we have a PDF for a crisis zone. You can download it in the link below. That will give you some more information of what going through a crisis is like and how it can help you. So simply download that link. The second thing you have to do then, after you define what feeds your soul, you have to take time to intentionally invest in those things that will feed your soul. Because it doesn't just happen. We've got to put it in our calendar. We've got to schedule it in our journey. I remember for me, I would take my calendar out and I would actually put in, I'm going to do a bike ride on Monday afternoon, Wednesday afternoon, and Friday afternoon, as long as the weather was good, so that I would already have it there. I would look 2 months out and say, I'm going to travel somewhere to see a family member. I'm going to take a week off and travel somewhere. So I could do that. I would take an afternoon off and I would read a good book or take a walk in the park. Again, I would intentionally do things to invest in healthy things in my soul, so the unhealthy things would not be as attractional. And I would encourage you, you really need and you really must do the same thing as well. Anytime you're in a crisis zone, it's a defining moment and it's a shaping season. So why nourishing your soul, these 2 things I've given you, is so important, is because it's not a matter of if you'll be shaped during the season. It's only a matter really of how. This is a principle many people do not realize and do not teach when it comes to crisis, and that is your soul is hungry. It will be fed. It will be fed by something. So you get to answer the question ahead of time, what are you going to feed it with? So be proactive. Know what feeds your soul. Give intentionality to feeding your soul so that you can wisely navigate through this crisis. Don't get stuck. You don't stall out. You can stay on the right path to ultimately finish well. If this resonated with you, I would encourage you with 2 things. One is watch this next video. It's the one thing to ask God in the middle of your crisis, so please watch that. The second thing is you can download that PDF on the Crisis Zone. It will help you. And the third thing is to subscribe to my YouTube channel. What it's all about is helping people walk through defining moments so they don't get stuck, so they don't stall out, so you can stay on the right path to finish well. So if I can help you, subscribe. I'd love to continue the journey with you.